But yeah, so I am playing Tetris, and they're playing Puyo, and yes, Emily's also playing Tetris. She wanted me to point that out. So, you know, when Puyo finishes and throws garbage over to Tetris, it comes up as Tetris blocks. And when Tetris throws garbage over to Puyo, it shows up as like Tetris garbage.
Oh, cool!
So that part's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's somewhat aesthetic, but I like it. I like that they're keeping.
Man, it looks really, really cool. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really neat. I think it's and also just a really cool way for if you're playing with more than like just by yourself. People can actually like mix in, like people if they want to just play Puyo, they can play Puyo. But if they want to play Tetris, they can play Tetris, and it all works together like that. I mean, knowing that since the name of the game is Puyo Puyo Tetris, I assume that was in there, but it's really cool that they actually did that.
Yeah, but normally when they have like two games in one package, it's like you can play this one or play this one. It's not play them at the same time.
That is not this game, and we have not explored the full breadth of the ways in which this meshes the two games. And
you mean there's more?
Oh, there's a lot more.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait,
if you act
more.
now. All right.
Ow.
I am using
So, Graham, are you as good at Tetris as you are at Puyo?
No, I'm better at Tetris than I am at Puyo.
Okay.
Well, I will say this. I'm probably, like, if you rank everyone in the world at how good they are at Puyo and how good they are at Tetris, I'm probably higher in the Puyo rankings than the Tetris rankings. But among the local metagame, I am a Tetris guy.
Yeah, I see that.
So I am using the current strategy right now, which the game does favor making lots of combos. So, whereas when I play regular Tetris, it's kind of go for Tetris, go for Tetris, go for Tetris, don't bother clearing any lines unless they're a Tetris kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
In this game, it's about clear a line, clear a line, clear a line, and then it makes a crazy combo that throws a lot of garbage at people.
I can see that.
And
then, Jeremy has a lot of garbage to deal with, and
so much garbage.
There's so much.
I don't know. He seems to be handling it all right.
Graham, are you using the gamepad? Are you looking just at the gamepad, or are you looking at the TV?
I am looking at the TV, but I'm holding the gamepad. The gamepad is showing exactly what's on the TV. Is one of those.
So the gamepad doesn't just show your side; it shows the whole thing.
Yeah, but Puyo's always done that. Whenever you play multiplayer, it's kind of important to monitor other people's stacks. So.
True, that's true.
Now, Graham, would you say, as a purveyor and a savant of both games, is one easier than the other?
Strong language.
Do you have an advantage over Jeremy by playing Tetris, or is it more personal preference?
They're
one has the
really
advantage
well
over the other?
balanced. They're really well.
They're
balanced.
really well balanced. Okay, that's cool.
So they've done a good job with that. I mean, I think there's a larger curve to Puyo, where, like, if you're bad at Puyo, you will lose worse. If you're good at Puyo, like, it's pretty easy to throw massive combos at your opponent with Puyo, whereas it's more of a slow and steady kind of thing with Tetris. But then again, you can totally, use that combo thing to be like, I'm going to clear a line 8 consecutive times and then see what you do about it.
Totally.
So yeah, that part's interesting.
This is great.
Yeah.
Graham, you've sold me on this game.
Good.
I'm probably going to play it at some point.
Good, you should. It's pretty great.
Obviously, this game looks like one that would benefit greatly from playing with buddies as opposed to solo.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's the idea.
This is why I'm risking this sketchy streaming setup to make this happen. Because it's definitely a lot better. I don't know if you've played any Japanese-style puzzle games against the AI, but it's usually the most miserable experience you've ever had in your life. Because
I can imagine.
They're almost as good as Japanese humans, so they're really tough.
Is there any kind of online in this at
Yes.
all?
There is all kinds of online. You can
excellent.
You can play, I think, 4 of the main modes online, and when the game's in attract mode before you hit the start button, it streams a live replay of like a super good Puyo Tetris match.
Nice.
It's
Oh, cool.
kind of depressing, but it's cool anyway.
Gives you a dose of humble pie, I can imagine.
Yeah,
Delicious.
it's more of probably some sort of gelatin dessert.
I've never had humble Jello.
I've eaten crow.
That's yeah.
You know, I don't find that hard to believe. I think.
No, I know. Big mouth gets me in trouble.
All right, so that is your standard Puyo Puyo Tetris, but this game puts Puyo against Tetris, and it's almost as if the developers knew this was the one time they were going to be able to put Puyo and Tetris in the same game, so they tried everything. So
Right.
I'm gonna show you the main multiplayer modes right now, and we're gonna jump into one. But so
What is
one-
that dog saying, Graham? What was
Oh.
that dog saying?
Don't,
Yeah, what's that
don't worry
that
about it.
professor-looking dog?
Yeah, that's yep. That's
Is he like, I am the Tetris master, and I am also a dog?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty safe to assume that that's what it is.
All right. Working on my Japanese.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You're all the way there. But so the next mode we're going to jump into is called Swap, and I think it's really like the signature mode of the game, I'll say, because all players play Puyo and Tetris.
Ooh.
And so what you do is you have two boards. Let me pick a character real quick. I'm gonna jump with the Kung Fu Fish dude. He's pretty cool.
Of course.
He's pretty great. So in this mode, every 30 seconds, you switch between your Puyo board and your Tetris board. Yeah.
That sounds exciting and also
Yeah.
kind of horrible.
Yes. You are correct. So everyone has both boards, and you'll see here that you can see like a little miniature of the board when you're in the other one. And there's a countdown in the middle, and you switch all the time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
That's pretty cool.
And so every
yeah.
time your block falls, and if it triggers something great, otherwise it disappears. That last block doesn't really hurt you. So they're a little nice in that.
That's good.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow, that's even more devious than I thought it would be.
Whoa.
But so yeah, the thing is, when you trigger your your damage, if you trigger your damage right before it flips, your damage will go onto their other board. So it can get kind of tense.
Do you lose if one of your boards is
Yep.
filled up? Okay.
So
So it's not you have to. Okay, yeah, all right, I
Nope.
get that now. Yeah.
You can't save yourself.
you can't save yourself. Just in general, it's
So someone's like screaming, "Save yourself!"
You can't do
We're
that.
like, "Nope, you can't."
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, that's a nice 3 combo. Should just win now, I think, right? Nope.
Too early.
It is too early in the game. One of the things the game does is the longer the game goes, the larger your combos are, like by default. So it encourages the game to end at some point, which is really good if you get in like a tennis match with someone. That it's kind of a ticking clock.
Funny you should mention Tetris. I read our.
It's
our
funny I
snack
should
time
mention
thread
Tetris.
really- No, well it is. Well, the reason I say that is that
Funny, you should
when
mention
you
the
sent
game
out
you're streaming.
when you sent out the email, I thought it was Puyo Puyo Tennis. I'm like,
That's-
how is that even a thing? I
I'd
didn't know
play
what
that.
England was going
That
to
sounds great.
broadening my horizons every day.
Yeah, I play Puyo Puyo Tennis. That sounds good, pretty cool.
I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't any of that in
What
the Sega All-Stars tennis, any sort of Puyo
That's what I
levels
meant when I
or
said funny you should mention Tetris. I meant funny you should mention tennis.
anything. I didn't mention tennis.
Yeah.
It's not that funny. It's more sad that I didn't figure it out.
Okay.
Why wasn't just the Puyo blob the ball in the second tennis game? That would've been
Or
great.
yeah,
We
like
don't talk about that, Andrew. That's a sore subject.
wow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Can I hold out? I can hold out. Yes. Okay. So I have bought myself time The tiniest
Sure
bit
have.
of time.
Tiniest.
Oh,
Alright.
switch. Oh, you couldn't flip that last.
Yep.
Have you guys seen the College Humor video with the vengeful Tetris god?
I have not.
It's worth checking out. It's pretty good.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. It's just this guy, this god, who determines what the pieces
And now
come,
Jeremy wins.
and he is not. He is a vengeful god.
Yeah.
I believe it, Henry.
What is
Oh.
Tetris?
Man.
I think, yeah.
That was gonna happen, but it's always fun to like buy yourself just one more round.
Isn't that kind of depressing though? You're just sitting there knowing that
No, because
Like-
I have absolutely pulled out a win.
you've come back from that.
Yeah, it's
Oh man. That
Yeah.
sounds great.
Graham has snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
I did not do well. I have in the past. That time I didn't. That time Jeremy totally won.
Snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Well,
Not quite either.
I wasn't about to win either. I
No, I know.
just lost. That's what happened.
Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, I went straight up as opposed to not going up, which is the point I'm making.
So while this intense
Yes,
Puyo
please.
Puyo Tetris match is going on, Henry, you
Yo,
played any video games lately?
I've been playing some video games, man.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
I've been playing too many at the same time. Usually I'm pretty good at sticking to just one. But unfortunately, I know everyone says the summer is the downtime, but man, I've been playing games like crazy. So I have a buddy who is, one of my best friends is visiting for a couple months, and he's going to go work on a cruise ship soon. So he's here visiting his family for the summer. And we've gotten back into Dungeon Defenders with 3 players, so my girlfriend and I are once again
Nice.
re-addicted. And I gotta say, 3 players better than 2.
Hey,
Because
Yeah.
if there's ever a breach in the walls, which with us there's often breaches, in that the enemies have destroyed one or more of our barricades, it's not an automatic game over because we have multiple people that can actually delegate what we call a breach protocol. So someone, we actually have the numbers to fend off the enemies, rebuild, do whatever. So that's really refreshing. So we've been hopelessly addicted to this game. We're not going out Friday, Saturday nights. We're playing like 10-hour sessions.
just sitting home playing Dungeon Defenders.
Basically, we're stuck on the Desert Town DLC. Is pretty tough, but so that's one of the game.
Have you just real
so-
quick? Do you play a lot of like tower defense like games, even ones that are kind of like this
Not-
more actiony or?
Not a ton, although with Kyla and I, that's like our jam. That's
Yeah.
like we like the game. If we had to pick one game to play together forever, it would be tower defense for sure. Big fan of.
Might I
like,
recommend if you haven't played it, Orcs Must Die 2 on the PC? I've only
you know,
played like a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I really want to, but she doesn't really have like a good PC. We're gonna get her one.
Damn.
So for now, we're sticking to console. So like
Yeah.
Pixel Junk Monsters and Dungeon Defenders really have sort of taken up a lot of our time. So
One to
yeah,
keep in
no,
mind though.
it's
So-
I've heard it's really cool.
So Henry, you're
Yeah.
really enjoying this 3-player thing, so I have a mind-blowing suggestion for you.
I think I know where this is going.
4 players.
No,
Whoa.
no, I'm not ready for it.
That might be one too many. I don't know.
It's good. Well, the problem really is like I like couch co-op. Like we don't have huge fans of like online stuff, so it's hard to get people's like schedules together.
I
So the good
understand
thing
that.
about my friend Dave is that he has like nothing to do until he starts his job. So it's basically if we're like, hey, come over and play Dungeon Defenders, he's over playing Dungeon Defenders. But
So-
yeah, if we ever find a worthy candidate, for sure we will include them.
Yeah, my strategy seems to be to like grab hold of an entire day of the week and never let it go for fear of
Yeah,
death. And that's
That
really
works.
working out pretty well for me. You
Awesome.
know, most weeks. Just have no regard for anyone else's schedule.
no,
Um,
no.
yeah,
You have
it's-
to be a dictator in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they're better off. They're better off, right, guys? You're better off.
It's just insanely addictive. They're like, we'll look up. Our schedule so far has been like, we'll go for like a hike or do something fun outdoors. Like we'll rent kayaks or whatever, so we get some exercise in, and then we'll get some food, make a communal dinner, and then we basically hit a time warp where we sit down and start playing around 7 or 8, and then all of a sudden it's 4 in the morning. Like it's starting to get light outside. And we're like, did we just play for like 6 hours straight? And you
Yeah.
guys know that happens.
Yeah, no, that definitely happens.
I kind of like it though. Like I'm never bored while I'm doing it. It's more like you're so invested in what you're doing, and that happens once in a while with like work or school, but more often with games, just because it's usually so immersive and fun.
Yeah, I think the most
so yeah.
recent time that happened with us guys is maybe the console version of Diablo. I think was the like we looked up and like, how is it 3 a.m.?
That's impossible. Regular adults should be asleep by now.
I believe there was a I have to work at 5:30 that happened.
Oh my gosh.
Which was news to everyone else.
I'm
like,
assuming,
what?
I'm assuming it's 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
If it was p.m., then yeah.
Well,
Cool.
I mean, those people usually show up too. As it turns out, those guys are pretty easy to get to show up to your game nights.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're dedicated.
They are. So, I managed to pull it out despite not having the highest score most of those matches. But, you know, it's just the power of being a fish that knows Kung Fu. So.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
I don't have anything to say to that.
Looks like Jeremy picks the robot always. He's his homeboy.
Yeah. And pretty much most games.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I think this may date
robots are
back
awesome.
to Flying Dragon on the N64, maybe?
Robo no Hana, yeah.
Robo no Hana,
what about Robo and Chrono Trigger? He was my homeboy. He was an awesome robot.
Well, you don't really get to, like, pick him, you know?
Well, put him in your party.
you can.
Okay.
Put him in your party all the time.
So
or you
we're
just ignore him.
gonna transition to another mode in Puyo Puyo Tetris, and this
There's
is
another one?
Stop right there. There's
Yeah.
an ultra mode.
There are about 5 modes we're not ever gonna get to in this stream, and that's okay because I'm
Wow.
showing you the good ones.
Yeah.
So this is mix mode, and this is that you're playing Puyo and Tetris at the same time in the same play area.
Stop right there, Greg. time to commit you to an asylum because what you just said was insane.
Yeah.
A logical person would never say such a thing.
Well, you know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm
Okay.
ready.
Are you going with
ready and
the
willing
fish?
to
Oh,
find
you're
out.
not. You're done with the fish.
I'm trying
Or
to
you-
decide because this is actually one of the modes where I don't know if you see it in the menu. They have a little line beside each character. These actually do have drop sets, and the important thing here is that you want someone with a drop set. Really, you pay attention to what Tetris piece it is, because that Tetris piece is replaced by a piece that changes between a Puyo formation and a Tetris formation every second, and it stays at whatever one you drop it as.
Man.
Yeah. So I always make sure that I'm not using one that has the eye block as that, because you really want that to always be Tetris.
So who is this that you're playing as? Is that a what is that exactly? What is that?
I'm not even sure.
Okay. So, yeah, I am playing
Happy Face and Cloud?
It is the personification of the O block. Which, as you see, the ears are the square. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, it's kind of it. Yeah.
That sounds. Every time you pick a new character, I'm like, that sounds like the best character. But I think this actually sounds like the best character. I'm sticking to it.
It's pretty good. The thing about this character is everything it says is beep 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 beep.
Huh.
That's
okay.
what it says all the time. And
All right.
it'll actually, like, when it wins, that will be the text box is just like the P character repeated over and over again.
I'll probably be able to read that too.
Yeah. Well, now that you notice the P character, you can probably count how many times it says it.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. So, mix. As you can see, you drop your Tetris pieces and they sink to the bottom. Which is crazy, but it's kind of the only way for you to line up Tetris pieces.
Yeah.
So-
Otherwise, it would make no sense.
I mean, it doesn't make that much sense to begin with, but yes.
So I take it it's just random which ones you're gonna get. I mean, like if you're gonna get a Puyo or a Tetris block.
Well, you can see that
Yeah.
you have like you know what's coming.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not in any specific order. Like, it's just going to be, okay,
No,
Tetris,
yeah.
bunch of Tetris blocks, then maybe one Puyo, and then a bunch of Tetris, and then a bunch of Puyo, that sort of thing.
In my experience, you get about as many Tetris blocks as Puyo blocks, which means you get more Puyo pieces.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Aha.
So you're always kind of holding out for the right Tetris piece. And also, when you drop the Tetris pieces, they crush the garbage. So
That's
there's
pretty
a whole other
handy.
layer of strategy there, where sometimes you want to play it just to crush garbage. Sometimes you want to crush garbage so that the things under it match up right.
I always want to crush garbage, Graham.
Okay. Is that okay? Is that like a profession you want to go into?
You know what? I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
So, what are those weird circly? Is that just those weird circle Puyos? Is that those just?
That's just a silly formation that means it's a block, but they're
Okay.
just trying to make them look gooey, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of unclear. Yep. Oh man, I'm losing. And I
See that?
I just put that in the wrong spot. Just straight up put it in the wrong spot. Saw where it needed to go, acknowledged that, put it somewhere else. This is going to be a great match for me.
That sounds like the prime strategy.
Yeah, mess up a whole bunch of times. Then you win. It's worked well for me in the past.
Well, we've temporarily lost Henry, so I will just ask you, Graham, if you played anything that doesn't involve Puyo or Tetris
I
in
have.
the past
I have.
couple of weeks.
So I'll go ahead and say now I am starting to play Magic 2015, which came out yesterday, but I haven't really gotten far enough into that to have much in the way of insight. I have also been, it's the summer, so I've been doing some research into a future Gaijin Guide column. And I'm looking into Europe-only games, or games that released in Europe but not here. Because I've heard from a lot of people that they are interested in playing import games and things like that, but, they like English.
English is good.
I'm a fan of English. I like English.
I mean, that's what we write in all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Usually. I mean,
Usually.
sometimes, well, yeah, but usually English.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for all of our writers prior to editing, but
Yeah.
but most. But yeah, so I have been looking into some of that stuff, and there's some interesting things out there. One thing that I recently picked up was Pokemon Learn with Pokemon Typing Adventure, which is a DS game with a Bluetooth keyboard.
That sounds like, I'm just thinking like Typing of the Dead, but with Pokemon.
It is
kind of.
It is Typing of the Dead, but with Pokemon.
Excellent.
That's
I'm
what
on
that
board.
game is.
Okay.
But the thing is, you put your DS on a stand. Yeah.
Stand.
Yeah.
I heard stand. Okay.
You put your DS on a stand, you put a Bluetooth keyboard in front of it, and then you play
Okay.
the game.
Huh.
That's a pretty
Is it-
logical use of the DS, don't you think?
Is it an adventure?
I mean, is Typing of the Dead an adventure?
You know what? It can be considered an adventure by many. Yes.
Okay, well then this is an adventure, at least by those same people.
Okay. Good.
Unless their definition of adventure specifically needs zombies. Is there a
Hey,
Pokemon
Mike.
that's a zombie? I can't remember.
Well, I mean, there's like, well, no, there
Yeah.
are ghosts, but no zombies.
That's the thing. Needs to be some zombie
Yeah,
Pokemon.
ghosts. I will say, I don't think ghosts are as cool as zombies, but they're not as oversaturated, so
Yeah.
that's always a plus. But yeah,
Well,
so like,
ghosts are
what do
actually not very saturated at all. That's
you know what? You're right.
yeah.
You got me there.
Good.
What is the structure of this game? Is it just
So
like,
your
obviously
map
you're-
is a keyboard.
okay?
Each of your levels is a key on the keyboard, and you travel
Okay.
to that area by hitting the key on the keyboard. And then Pokemon show up, and you
Are
type.
you catching them by typing?
Yeah, like the tutorial kind of eases you into it, but basically, you eventually catch the Pokemon by typing their names. So you actually have to know the names of Pokemon, which does take a while sometimes.
Yeah, I
you know,
don't really know the names of Pokemon.
especially like Black and White era Pokemon, especially because it came out between Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. But yeah, so that's kind of a weird game. I've been playing that. Also, I've been playing Nintendo Pocket Football Club, which is a soccer management game.
Soccer, not American football.
Yes,
I guess that makes sense considering it's from Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also released in Japan. It was called Calciobit, but it's they actually kind of made it a better game for Europe, which is crazy, rather than just localizing it. But that's pretty cool. I've also been playing some, Inazuma 11 sequels.
just because of you were in the World Cup mood spirit.
Well, I could say that, but really it was because I found a good deal on eBay for a PAL 3DS. So
That works too.
there are very few Europe exclusive things, and they're usually soccer. But
Makes
yeah,
sense.
it was nice that all happened at the same time.
Do you play any actual like soccer games, FIFA, Pro Evo,
So,
anything like that? Or is it exclusively Inazuma 11?
I
That
have
sort of
played
thing?
them in the past, and they're just like difficult simulation games. Like,
Yeah.
I barely would play something like 2K, right?
Yeah.
But I have played, like I reviewed it a while back, FIFA Street. I've played like all of those games, but they're kind of more
yeah.
arcadey, but they're FIFA. Super Mario
But
Strikers.
on the
I'm kind of,
streets.
yeah,
Sorry, I just had to put that in there.
yeah. Well, you're right about that. It is on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to argue. But so like I do like stuff like Mario Strikers and
Yes, Mario Strikers is
that kind
great.
of thing.
I want a new Mario Strikers someday.
Yeah, we'll see, because Next Level seems to have graduated.
That's
into
true. Yeah.
higher
I wonder what they're
stuff.
working. Do we know anything about what they're working on next? It's probably
Nope.
another Nintendo thing.
Yeah, we really need to find out, but we do not know. I just got a Tetris in mixed mode, you guys.
Oh,
I just got a Tetris in mixed mode, you guys.
It's probably gonna hurt.
That's
really
so
bad.
hard to do,
it's pretty great.
because you're having to like manage the stack on top of the stack, and like you only get a Tetris piece every 12 blocks. So it's kind of difficult to get a Tetris. I think that may
That
have
would
been
be
the first time.
an achievement if this game had achievements or a trophy. I'm sure the PS3 version has trophies. So maybe that's a
you know
trophy.
what? It probably does have trophies.
Yeah.
The Vita version probably also trophies. Like
True.
if you like carrying like puzzle games around with you, I don't blame you if you're trying to get the Vita version. But man, the
Unless
multiplayer
it's
stuff is
Luminous, no, not really. I mean, for me, like I guess the portable version might be a really good version of this, but like the multiplayer stuff seems like, especially local multiplayer stuff, seems like the reason to get this. So
great. I am heartened to hear that.
yeah, so I think if I do get this, it'll be the PS3 version because I'm not going to import a Wii U.
Yeah, that's
I'm not-
more reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Hey, how's
any
it
excuse
going?
to spend more money on video game stuff that I don't really need is great, but if I
Right.
can just get it on PS3,
Pretty
I'll do
good.
that.
Oh, man.
Speaking of spending money on video game things
Yeah.
you don't really need, actually, you know what, this might not actually lead anywhere, this is actually a more serious question. Did you get a Retron yet? Has your Retron arrived?
Oh,
I don't remember.
man. It has not arrived.
Man,
And it is because we were in I got it in a Kickstarter program.
Yeah.
And Hyperkin has, like, pledged to honor the price they quoted to the guy, which was back when it was going to be 100, and now it's 140. They pledged
Yeah.
to honor the price. As a result, they're going to ship everything to everyone else before they ship it to us.
jeez, and considering that thing's is like kind of a shortage right now, or at least seemingly is. I don't
Yeah,
know. Seems
so-
really hard to find right now, at least for the standard price.
Yeah, so that's what's happening with that. When I get it, I'm totally going to show off some cool stuff. I've been banking
Please
some
do.
really cool... I mean, like, people have used, like, streamed, like, SNES games and stuff for a long time. Like, it'll probably be great for that. What I'm really excited to be able to show off in good quality is, like, some GBA games, some Game Boy Color games.
Yeah,
Also, like, those games are perpetually overlooked, you know?
I agree. That, you know what? Hey, let's make it a future stream. GBA, GBC, GBs.
Yep.
How about that? All right, all for it. Also, just be cool to see the menu and interface and all that for the
Yeah.
Retron itself. But yeah, I definitely want to get one of those when it's actually available for the normal price and not like $40 to $50 more on Amazon or whatever.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Actually, I heard I kind of regret not pre-ordering one on Amazon because apparently it was originally listed for the original price, which was $100, and because it's Amazon, you could pre-order from them and you still would have only had to pay $100 if you had pre-ordered at that price. So I almost did at one point when it was first coming, or originally supposed to come out, but I didn't. I was a little short, so I regret it now. But hopefully, it's not going to be too hard to find for that price for too long.
Hopefully.
So I've been playing some games.
Yeah?
Nothing too new, but stuff I could talk about. Like, I checked out this game during the Steam sale called Noir Syndrome.
Okay.
Which is a procedurally generated adventure murder mystery type game where you play as this detective, and every time you start the game, it's a new case. Well, it's kind of the same case. You basically have to find a murderer, but it's like it's basically you are trying to track down the killer based on these randomly generated set of clues and characters, and all in this one like the map is the same and all the locations you visit are the same, but everything else is different every time you start a new game. So basically, you wander around these different environments, kind of talking to people and picking up different clues in the environment. And it's very simple stuff. Like you'll pick up, let's say, a shoe that looks like a shoe that a ballet dancer would wear. So you're like, okay.
Wait, a ballet dancer or a belly dancer?
A ballet dancer.
Okay. A valet dancer?
No.
Dancer
I mean, there might be
has
belly
a day
dancers
job?
in the game. There might be belly dancers. I don't know. I haven't encountered that, but
okay.
there are ballet dancers. So
okay.
Then you know, okay, the killer might be a ballet dancer, and then you find the clues that lead to like, oh, it might be a man or a woman, and might be,
it might be a man or a woman. We don't know.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So you pick up these clues and you kind of piece together based on the suspects you talk to and the clues you find. It's pretty simple in the fact that the clues are kind of they are attached to different professions, and each of the people you talk to, they could be like just a civilian or they could have a specific job, and it's kind of simple because it's just like, okay, how many clues do I have? How many of these like lead to the specific or the most likely suspect, and then you basically you say, okay, this is definitely the killer, and then you go arrest them. But it's a little more complicated than that in the fact that like every because of the way it's kind of randomly generated, it is like you can't rely on the same tricks every time. So there will be situations where you encounter very similar clues, and you think, oh, well, obviously this is going to be the same person or someone who has the similar profession and is in the similar area, but completely like swap it out on you because you didn't find that one key clue, and you only have a set number of days to figure out the mystery, and each time you go to a different location, that's one day, and I think it's like 15 days total. So, and if you don't figure out the crime in that time, you basically you kind of lose. Although I think it also counts as an ending in the game, and there's a ton of different endings. So it's kind of just it's a very replayable game. You'll get through like a case in about a half hour, but it's one of those things you keep coming back to, and it's really neat. It's got that noir vibe, as the name might suggest, and it's I don't know. I was having a lot of fun with it, messing around, and yes.
So does it automatically generate red herrings?
Yes.
Is it like just totally like this is randomly generated to not lead to anything?
Exactly, yes.
Interesting.
There will definitely be clues that you have to kind of figure out through a process of elimination that it doesn't actually add up to anything. And there will be clues that, based on other clues you find and witnesses you talk to, seem, okay, this is pointing me in the right direction. And I'm probably making it sound more complicated than it is, but it is really simple. It's just you go around, you click on the environment a bunch, you find different clues, you click on the different people wandering around. Some of them will just say, oh, I heard that so-and-so did it, which actually isn't very useful because it seems like everyone just wants to tell on everyone else. No one trusts anyone in this little town apparently. But some of them will actually like unlock a little thing in your notebook that'll say, okay, this person is is a suspect, and this is what they do, and and all that. And yeah, it's a really neat mode, and there's actually a special mode in it that is just like one giant house with a bunch of people in it, and everything moves super fast.
What?
So, not super fast as in like super speed, but like the time, like, okay, over time in the regular game, people will die, like, because there's another element in this game where there's a mob, and they are kind of untouchable, but they will sometimes kill people just because they're the mob. There's really no explanation for it. So occasionally you'll get a message on the screen that says so and so has died, which can kind of throw a wrench in your case if you thought, oh, they might be the killer. And maybe they still are, but they were killed, so you can't actually make the arrest. So it's sort of this thing where there's a lot of weird random elements in it that don't really add up to much in terms of the actual case, but they're just kind of thrown in there to mess with you. And there's also this thing where people can kind of lose their minds. And like you can run into this person a couple of times, and then when you run into them the third time, they will have gone crazy and want to try to kill you because I don't know. That's really that's it. It's just so this other mode that takes place in the house is basically just everything moving super fast. So there are mobsters and they're just killing people randomly, not just like over the course of time. So people will just start, like, sometimes you'll start this mode and there'll be like 3 deaths within the first minute, just out of the blue. And sometimes it'll keep saying this person has gone crazy or this person has started to get angry, and you can like just be wandering around the house and suddenly there'll be people shooting at you, and you have a gun with limited number of bullets. Like you can buy bullets and stuff. You have currency too, but you only want to use that against people when they're actually posing a threat to you. Otherwise, it might cause a problem with your case. Like, no one will trust you and want to talk to you about anything, and you'll like start losing key witnesses, or like suspects will just like disappear. So yeah, it's like I said, it sounds more complicated than I'm probably making it sound way more complicated. But once you jump into